crowded tennis schedule this summer. Did you ever give any thought to skipping this tournament?
I did consider it. I think as most of the other top players, but under the circumstances that I was in the last month or so, and early exit in Wimbledon, obviously, allowed me to have more time, and I actually think that Toronto is a great way for me to prepare for Olympic Games and what's coming up after that, but also to enjoy my time in this tournament that I always loved playing. I enjoyed Canada, both cities, Toronto and Montreal, and the past results and history shows that I have a good time on Canadian soil, so I try to get the best out of it.
Can I just follow that up? Did you or your team investigate the Zika question that seems to be troubling a lot of athletes, and what were the conclusions that you came to?
Yes, I did get more information on it, and my decision is to go to the Olympic Games because from the informations and facts that I got, it's not as it's presented. It's not as dangerous. Of course, there's always a possibility that you can get that virus, but I think maybe the fuss and the buzz about that virus has been created with some kind of other intent that I'm not going to get into that, but for me it's safe enough, and I'm going to go.
Novak, obviously with Roger out for the rest of the year, Rafa's still apparently struggling with his wrist. You guys, the four of you, have dominated at the top of the sport for so long now. Given time, injury, whatever, a couple of young players coming up, Milos breaking through to get to a final at Wimbledon. Do you see perhaps the mix about to change over the next, let's say, the next year or so?
Well, you had a couple of times where Stan Wawrinka or Nishikori would come in, or some other player that would, I think even Milos, sometimes top, I think top 4. But still the four of us guys that have been very fortunate to dominate the sport in the last 10 years have been staying consistently there in those spots, and we are all aware that this is not going to stay forever. Obviously we have a new generation coming up that is already established in top 10 of the world, like Nishikori and Raonic, now Dominic Thiem. So it's a natural cycle of life and sport. New faces are coming up and challenging the best players in the world, and they did win against all of us on some big occasions here and there, and they showed that they have enough quality to be serious contenders for the top spots and for major titles. So eventually that's going to happen. Somebody's going to come in the mix. Whether that's going to happen later this year, next year, or in a few years, that's something that we don't know. But that is coming, and I obviously can speak only on my own behalf, and I'm going to try to stay there and motivated as much as I can. I know that as the time goes on and passes by, I will have more players challenging me and trying to take away that top spot. That is the ultimate goal, I think, in sport. But that's something that keeps me going, I guess, each day, and knowing that there's so many of the other guys that are putting on the hours on the court, so I need to work even harder in order to stay there.
Novak, pretty much your whole career it's been Roger and Rafa in front of you, with you. Now a few times this season they haven't been around, you've been sort of the guy. Are you feeling more prominent? Do you sense a difference?
Look, enjoying this sport very much, and I sense that I have changed as a person and as a player in the last couple of years, and experienced my own personal evolution as everybody does in their own way. Whether or not I'm dominant or people see me this way or other way, it's all the subject of speculations that I leave to other people. I really, I don't think it's, first of all, nice for myself to speak about myself, you know, and my own achievements. I think, you know, I leave to the others to really talk about that and judge. But you know, me, it's really to just keep going and keep finding new ways to inspire myself to play this sport each day. It's not, you know, only the matches, official matches that you see on the television. It's all this 80–90% of the days where you practice, where you have to, you know, keep motivating yourself, keep, you know, finding new ways to find that strength and the drive, and, you know, keep repeating the same routine over and over again, but also finding new ways to improve and evolve. And I guess if you reach that optimal balance, you know, for everybody it's obviously different. It's one of the formulas for success, I guess.
Novak, could you just have a quick assessment from you of your performance today, and also look ahead to tomorrow against Radek?
Gilles Muller, a very difficult player to play against in the quick conditions. Takes away the time of the opponent. He serves and volleys at their second serve a lot as well, which you know, he's one of the rare guys that does that. And he likes to play quick, and I think the warm day like today played a lot in his favor, you know. But I managed to start off the match well and get set and a break up, and then I, you know, dropped my serve twice in the second set. Those are the only, let's say, downsides to the match today. Other than that, I'm quite pleased with the way I've you know, held my nerves and was focused, and just overall performance was very pleasing, considering it was the first hardcore match for a long time.
Last question, please.
I think you recently joined the Players Council. It's a busy time in your life and your career. What's prompted that, and are there particular areas that you want to focus on changing or improving on at all?
Well, I think it's two reasons. First, because I've been elected by my fellow colleague tennis players, and, you know, some of them have named me as a, you know, potential member of the Players Council, and the second reason is because since I have this opportunity, you know, as somebody that is on the top of the game and has obviously at this moment certain influence, I can try to use that influence and contribute in a good way to the sport. So Roger has done that for a long time, and Rafa was also in the council for a long time, and I think it's good that the best players in the world are getting involved as well. Not much in politics as much as in really making a difference, positive difference in the sport, you know, for the future generations as well, not just for us. You know, I mean, we're talking about the seasons to come, you know, 18, 19, 20, and who knows if, you know, some of us will still play at that time, but we can, you know, do something that is going to leave a mark of our legacy as well on the sport, not just as tennis players, but, you know, as people who try to leave a better sport for future generations.
Last one.
Novak, you mentioned before prominence and acknowledgement of the great run you've had. I wanted to ask you about support. You've also, during this run, you've had to play Roger in finals at Wimbledon, where he was obviously the sentimental favorite because of his standing and his age. You've had to play Murray at Wimbledon, you know, during that whole thing. I was wondering if at the French, you know, it seemed like the crowd really supported you and acknowledged that, how badly you wanted that. And I was wondering if that really added, after the matches you've had to play against other sentimental favorites, if that made the French even more special for you.
It did. It was divine. ovation to experience. Honestly, I think it started the years before, especially the year before, and when I lost to Wawrinka on the closing ceremony. I had that very respectful ovation, you know, and that was very emotional. It touched me very, very deeply, and I knew that there is that special bond and connection between the crowd in French Open and me. It was really strengthened and established in 2015, and then 2016. You know, it was flowing from the day one. You know, that I arrived there, and I saw, you know, how much love and energy I was getting from people, and how much they wanted me to do well. So I think all of that combined resulted with a magnificent experience in the end, and the first triumph in Paris. So yeah, very, very special moment, unforgettable moment, remarkable. You know, I'm trying to find more words to describe it. It's one of those feelings that stick with you forever, and I really appreciate the support and love I got from the crowd, because, you know, in the big matches like that, you need it. You know, I mean, it's crucial at times. You know, it's a necessity. You know, to have that kind of wind in the back and that kind of support that you know, gives you wings in the right moments, because very few points can really decide the winner in the big matches.
Can I just add, do you anticipate that happening in New York and London eventually for you, as you become the elder statesman, you know, protecting your turf?
You're talking about the future, if we can expect, well, I sincerely hope so. Well, I'm not sure, obviously, but you know, I'm obviously doing everything in my own power, in my own field of influence to be a positive example on and off the court, and you know, I'm very obviously connected and emotionally to this sport, and I feel that bond, and I try to be honest and transfer that passion on the court and off it as well. I have tons of respect for it, so I hope people can, you know, relate to that and recognize that, and that, you know, obviously playing against Roger, as you mentioned, in Grand Slam finals, and Rafa, you know, those guys have been on the tour more than me, and that, you know, those guys are some of the biggest players ever to play the game. So it's hard to expect that the majority will be on your side in those circumstances. But you're working, you're you know, trying to be who you are, and eventually hope that majority comes your side.
Thank you. Thank you.